What's going on, guys and girls, here at the 2019 Natural Body Epic Block Party. Guys, Cisternino, we're here with Nick. We are here with MFit Subs now, which is kind of crazy. Like, we've seen you in this industry before. Now you have your own thing here where you guys are actually, what I've heard is nothing but amazing things. How exciting is it for you to be attached to basically your own brand now and be able to do what you want to do?
I mean, you know, being in the industry, you know, as a competitor since 2003, and then my first sponsor was BSN, and then I was with them for 5 years, and I left on my own accord. Yeah, we're not filming. I left with 8 months ago, my contract, and then, you know, I was with Centurion for about 5 years, and I left again when I had my contract was still in. But, you know, it came to a point where Nick reached out to my girlfriend, who he's friends with, and asked her, you know, what's guys' deal with Centurion, and she was like, I don't know, let me ask him. So she called me that night. I was like, you know, one of my buddies is starting a supplement company. So when you hear like a startup, it already went to the back of my head. I'm like, when I have time for him, I'll let him know. And so months went on, and you know, I started looking around for supplement companies, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna call this kid. So I called him, and it was funny because I didn't realize where they were located in Long Island, in Hauppauge, and then I didn't realize they were owned by a pharmaceutical company. I thought they were just starting up, like the way Centurion did, like in the back of somebody's, you know, like little garage in a little hut. So I pulled up, and it was this huge, massive building, and I'm in like pants and a t-shirt, like looking like I normally do, like a bum. And I called Nick, and I'm like, hey, like, where are you guys? He's like, oh, just come inside. I'm like, oh, you guys, like, I literally said, I go, oh, you rent out like one of the rooms? And he's like, no, this is headquarters, bro. And I'm like, what kind of startup? And we did it again. I said, what kind of startup company owns a building like this? And it was insane. And I walked in, I met Nick, I met John, I met Emma, the owner, Denise. It's just everybody in that A&Z Pharmaceutical at MFit brand. They're all absolutely, they were very hospitable when I walked in. They were all fans of mine, all excited about the brand. I tried the products when I was there. They were absolutely amazing. The formulations that Nick did mostly by himself are bar none some of the best. And when you walk into a company that's owned by a pharmaceutical company, they follow guidelines. GMP certified, FDA inspected. I mean, they're owned by a pharmaceutical company. With all the drama and the BS that goes on in the industry with people amino spiking or not meeting label claims, then you come and you get a breath of fresh air with a company like this. And I was like, you know, this is a longevity for me. This is something I'll be with these guys till my career's over in bodybuilding, and probably years to come after that as a part of the brand. So it's one of the best moves I've ever made. People thought I was crazy for joining another startup brand, but people talk about the brand like we've been in business for years. We've only been in business since March when we released the brand, so it's fairly new. And you know, hats off to Nick for thinking I was worth, you know, bringing on. But Nick is one of the formulators, one of the brand managers. He's pretty much like one of the VPs of the whole entire. He makes sure everything's running smoothly. Make sure the T's are crossed, I's are dotted. He's the man. So I owe a lot of my of me signing with MFit to Nick.
Nick, it's interesting because you guys started in March and you're going back by a pharmaceutical company. Did they come to you and say, listen, we want to be in the dietary supplement industry, we want a brand that's going to thrive and do well, and we want you to take it over? How did you step into that role to bring MFit to the fruition and to the launch in March? So
the company that we're owned by is A&Z Pharmaceutical. So we own the brand Decal, which is the #2 selling vitamin D and calcium supplement in all of China. So they came to me and said, okay, we're going to come out with the China line, which we launched at the first ever FIBO in Shanghai last year, and last September now. And those formulas were, obviously the regs in China are much more stringent than the ones in the US, so it's a lot harder to get over the border. So they came to me, we need a US line. So essentially, me being, at the end of the day, what we all are, fans of the sport and the industry, sat down, a couple of weeks, cranked out the formulas, and I was given the opportunity by our owner, Emma, just to run with it. And it was definitely a blessing in disguise getting into the whole marketing aspect. So that's how I got into the whole thing.
It's interesting too, because going out and signing an athlete right away is one of your first moves. It's not necessarily, I mean, it's probably the common, like, people want to do it all the time, but not a lot of people actually step and do it. So what drove you guys to go out and get Guy, have him be attached to the brand? Because from my perspective on the outside, it seems like it's been a really good fit, very successful, and the right move.
Yeah, so, and I say this with your boy Ben multiple times. When it comes to MFit Subs and Guy Cisternino, it's not, you know, oh, Guy's our athlete. We represent Guy, Guy represents us. It's a partnership. It's a brotherhood, if you will. I know it's a cliche and it sounds corny, but it's the truth. And I think a lot of that, like we said, gets lost. And it just becomes like, when it comes to FDA inspected facilities, GMP certifications, a lot of these people are cutting corners, and that is exactly the polar opposite of what we want to do.
No, I mean, well, we covered quite a bit on the channel in terms of what goes on in the industry. Listen, the industry, it can be shady. There can be a lot of weird stuff that happens. We try to inform people on a regular basis when that happens. But what we try to do is bring light to those companies in which actually follow the guidelines. When they say there's something on the label, there's actually those fucking things in the product, right? That's the most important thing. I don't want to send our fan base, our consumers, down the street to buy something that gets tested, finds out it has over 1 gram of caffeine in it. That's bullshit. So I like having brands like you guys come out doing things the right way that's actually beneficial to the performance enhancement of the consumer. Not just an energy high, not just a caffeine fix, but having ingredients that actually contributes to overall performance, which you help with the formulas. So how do you formulate? Like, how do you go into it? Do you do like consumer first innovation? Are there new ingredients that you look up? What's your thought process on that?
So the way I do it is, obviously you're doing your consumer insight projects, then you're going into the whole raw material sourcing, etc. But the whole basis of the line is, number one, obviously recovery. At the end of the day, that's how you're building new muscle, lean muscle mass. Number two, every single product should be taken synergistically with one another. So one of the questions that we get a lot is, why does Havoc only have 2.5 grams of creatine monohydrate in it? That's because you have your extra 2.5 grams of Crepure in the whey protein matrix that's dropping in another month. So all these products should be taken stacked together, obviously. But both pre-workouts, not much caffeine, because to be honest, you don't need it.
Where are you going to go? With 300 mgs is like plenty. And Havoc's got 200. And for me, all the brands I've been with, Havoc, I've taken more in 4 months than I did in 5 years with other companies.
Vasodilation formula. You got your alpha size, you got 8 grams citrulline malate, you got your beetroot powder, etc. I keep going, AG mass. It's all in there, and the flavor profiles are off the charts.
Yeah, like I said, I heard nothing but good things. I'm a fan of lower stimulated products. They're actually more beneficial. You overstimulate yourself, you're counterproductive to what we're trying to do, which is achieve a pump in the gym. Yeah, you want to achieve a pump. That's the most beneficial thing you can do in the weight room. What's next for MFit? I know you're still new. March was the Arnold. We have the Olympia coming up. A lot of brands like to do something special in September. Can we expect something special?
Yes, we have 8 new SKUs actually coming in the next 5 months. So we're coming in hot to the Olympia. We're really excited. Yeah.
What's next for you? You just competed. Were you just at the Tampa Pro?
Yeah. So I'm going to do the Legion Pro in November in Cali. And so we got, like you said, I have a guest posing next week in Virginia. Then we're off to the Arnold. We get back from the Arnold on Sunday. Then we're going to Aphex, which is the next day. Me and Nick come back on Sunday. We're off to China on Monday. We got Dubai Muscle Show in December. So for being a startup company, we're all over the map as far as places we have to go as a brand and a company. So it's pretty cool to see. You know, we just got approved in Australia for one of our distributors in Australia. So in 4 months, we cranked out a lot of crazy shit. As far as productivity goes with the brand. So this year is going to be really exciting to see where the brand goes, and next year it's going to be just a rocket ship straight up, you know. So it's pretty cool.
How much longer do you want to compete for?
I'm 37. I told myself till like I'm 40 or my early 40s, like 41, 42, depending upon, you know, I'm 37. I'm banged up. You know, I had surgery on my knee, 2 shoulder surgeries on my right shoulder, 1 on my left. You know, I'm old, beat up because I train like a fucking maniac. And, you know, unfortunately, I tell people are like, well, why do you still train like that after shoulder surgery? And I'm like, same reason why they put new tires on a fucking race car, so it can keep going around the fucking track. So as long as I still got new treads on the tire and I'm still able to drive the car, I'm going to drive it into the fucking ground.
I love it, guys. We're here with MFit at the 2019 Epic Block Party for Natural Body. We'll get these guys up on the site, get you guys some more exposure on the brand, the products, because they fit the formulation side of things that we actually want to promote through FI, because they're things that actually are going to help you. So, Nick, appreciate it, guys. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate it.